The handshake at the net was supposed to end the story. That was how these matches were supposed to work. Two players battled. One survived. One walked away. The crowd applauded. The cameras moved on. Tennis, for all its pressure and politics, always tried to preserve the illusion that once the final point landed, everything else disappeared with it. But on this cold June afternoon in Berlin, nothing disappeared. Not the tension, not the anger, and certainly not the feelings spreading through the historic Steffi Graf Stadion that something had gone terribly wrong. Alex Eala had just fought for nearly 2 brutal hours against Donna Vekić, the hottest player on grass courts entering the tournament. The Philippine flags had waved through every rally. The chants of Laban had thundered through the stadium like a heartbeat. Filipino fans had crossed continents just to witness this moment. And then came the call. One line, one decision, one moment that transformed an ordinary first-round match at the Berlin Open into the most controversial scandal of the grass court season. Within hours, the tennis world exploded. Slow-motion replays flooded social media. Former players demanded explanations. Fans accused officials of bias. And for the first time in recent memory, a players' camp took a step almost nobody in professional tennis ever dares to take. They filed a formal legal challenge against the WTA. Not over prize money, not over scheduling, not over rankings, over officiating, over a single call that may have changed the outcome of the match itself. And suddenly, the question hanging over Berlin wasn't who won. It was whether the match had been fair in the first place. Berlin, Germany, June 17, 2026. Steffi Graf Stadion, Center Court. The atmosphere before the match felt electric long before the players ever stepped onto the grass. By 9 a.m., the gates were already overflowing with fans carrying Philippine flags, homemade signs, and banners with one word painted across them in giant red letters. Laban. Fight. It had become more than a slogan around Alex Eala. It had become an identity. At just 21 years old, the Filipina star had already transformed herself from promising junior into one of the fastest rising names in women's tennis. Her recent run through the grass season had forced the sport to start paying attention in a way it never had before. Just days earlier, she had captured the Birmingham title in dramatic fashion, surviving a grueling 3-set battle against Nicola Bardunkova. That victory had done more than give her another trophy. It had shattered a painful mental barrier. For months, critics had whispered that she struggled against Czech players, that the aggressive European power game exposed weaknesses in her timing, that she wasn't ready for the very top level of the WTA Tour. Then she won Birmingham anyway. And suddenly the whispers changed. Now people were asking whether she might become something far more dangerous than a good young player, a genuine contender. But Berlin represented an entirely different challenge. Grass rewards confidence, timing, and nerve more ruthlessly than any surface in tennis. One moment of hesitation can destroy an entire set. One loose game can end a match before a player even settles in. And standing across the net from Eala was a woman overflowing with confidence. Donna Vekić had arrived in Berlin carrying the momentum of a fairy tale. At Queen's Club just 1 week earlier, she had entered the draw as a lucky loser after another player withdrew. Most lucky losers disappear quietly within a round or two. Vekić did the opposite. She stormed through the field. She dismantled bigger names. She defeated Emma Raducanu in the final. And suddenly the Croatian veteran wasn't just another dangerous opponent. She was the hottest player on grass. Commentators called her fearless. Analysts called her reborn. Fans called her unstoppable. The rankings reflected it too. She had surged back into the top 35 and looked more dangerous than she had in years. But there was one problem for Vekić. Alex Eala had already beaten her twice. Once in Auckland, once in Kyong. And both times, Eala had found ways to dismantle the Croatians' rhythm with left-handed angles and fearless shot-making. Still, grass changes everything. That was the narrative entering Berlin. Maybe Vekić had evolved. Maybe Eala's earlier wins no longer mattered. Maybe experience would finally overpower youth. The crowd expected drama. They got war. From the opening game, the intensity felt suffocating. Vekic attacked immediately, hammering flat ground strokes deep into the court and forcing Eala onto the defensive. The Croatian broke serve early and surged ahead 2-0. The Philippine flags in the crowd stopped moving. A nervous silence spread. For a moment, it looked like momentum from Queen's Club had carried directly into Berlin. Then Eala responded. And when she responded, she did it violently. She began stepping inside the baseline earlier and earlier, taking the ball before Vekic could recover position. Her left-handed forehand dragged the Croatian wide off the court. Her backhand redirects robbed Vekic of time. The momentum flipped instantly. 4 straight games. 4-2 Eala. The crowd erupted. Now, it was the Croatian looking rattled. But champions do not disappear quietly. Vekic steadied herself and clawed her way back into the set with the kind of composure that had carried her through Queen's Club. She held serve aggressively, attacked second serves, and punished short balls. Soon the scoreboard read 5-4 Vekic. 1 game from stealing the set. 1 game from crushing the energy building behind Eala. And that was when the Filipina star showed why people had started believing she was different. She refused to panic. No rushed errors. No emotional collapse. No fear. She broke back immediately. Then held. Then broke again. 7-5. First set Eala. The Philippine section exploded into celebration. Flags waved wildly. Fans screamed themselves hoarse. The upset suddenly felt real. But the second set would change everything. At first, it looked like Eala was taking complete control. She broke early, moved ahead 4-3, and appeared ready to close out one of the biggest wins of her grass court career. Then came the point. The moment that changed the entire tournament. Serving at 4-3, Eala constructed a rally beautifully, moving Vekic side to side before finally pulling the trigger on a forehand down the line. The ball landed flush against the sideline. At least, that's what everyone thought. The line judge called it out. The stadium froze. Eala stopped immediately and stared toward the chair umpire. That was in, she said calmly. Not screaming. Not emotional. Certain. The umpire climbed down, walked toward the mark, inspected it, consulted briefly, then upheld the call. Out. The reaction inside the stadium was instant chaos. Boos exploded from every section. Fans pointed toward the giant screen where the replay appeared to show the ball clipping the line. Commentators hesitated mid-sentence. Even neutral spectators looked confused. Eala stood frozen behind the baseline. And something changed in her face. Not frustration. Not panic. Something colder. Something sharper. Because athletes know when momentum disappears. They can feel it before the scoreboard reflects it. And in that instant, Eala knew the match had shifted. Vekic sensed it too. The Croatian immediately raised her intensity, attacking with renewed aggression while Eala struggled to contain the emotional weight of the moment. The break disappeared. 4-4. Then 5-4 Vekic. Then another break. 6-4. Match over. Officially, it was just another WTA result. Donna Vekić defeats Alex Eala 5-7, 6-4, 6-4. But nobody inside the stadium was talking about the score. They were talking about the call. The replay spread online within minutes. Frame by frame. Angle by angle. And with every replay, the outrage grew louder. The ball looked in. Clearly in. Not close. Not ambiguous. In. By the time Eala entered the locker room, social media was already exploding. The hashtag Justice for Eala began trending globally. Filipino fans flooded every major tennis account with screenshots of the replay. Journalists demanded clarification. Former players questioned the officiating publicly. Inside the locker room, the atmosphere felt heavy. Nobody spoke at first. Eala sat silently on the bench, staring at the floor while sweat still dripped from her hair. Her coach finally opened a laptop and replayed the footage. Again, and again, and again. Every angle looked the same. The ball touched the line. Silence filled the room. Then Eala finally spoke. That changed the match. Not angry, not emotional, just honest. Her coach nodded slowly. In tennis, Players almost never challenge officiating publicly. The culture of the sport discourages it. Complaining is often viewed as weakness. Most players absorb bad calls and move on. But this felt different, because it wasn't just a bad call. It came at the exact moment the match tilted. And everyone knew it. Her team debated carefully. Some warned against escalating things. Others argued silence would only guarantee it happened again. Finally, the decision was made. They would file a formal complaint, not requesting a replay, not demanding the result be overturned, but demanding accountability, transparency, an official review. It was unprecedented. And the moment the complaint became public, the tennis world exploded even further. Some fans supported her immediately. Others accused her of overreacting. Traditionalists claimed bad calls are part of sports. But many current and former players quietly sided with Eala, because deep down, most professionals understood exactly what had happened. Momentum in tennis is fragile, and one wrong decision at the wrong moment can destroy an entire match. Coco Gauff was among the first major players asked about the controversy. "She's not someone who complains for attention," Gauff said carefully. "If they filed something, they must really believe something went wrong." Venus Williams went further. "When players speak up about fairness, the sport should listen." Then came perhaps the most significant reaction of all. Billie Jean King posted a statement that spread instantly across the tennis world. The WTA was built to give players a voice. Using that voice is not disrespectful. That statement changed everything, because now this wasn't just about one-line call anymore. It became about power. About whether players were allowed to challenge the system itself. The WTA responded cautiously. The WTA is aware of the complaint filed by Miss Eala's team and is reviewing the matter. "We take officiating concerns seriously. Diplomatic, careful, non-committal, and completely unsatisfying to fans demanding answers." Meanwhile, the footage continued spreading. Millions of views. Endless debate. Television analysts dissected the moment frame by frame. Some argued electronic review systems should fully replace line judges on grass. Others questioned why the umpire ignored what appeared obvious on replay. And throughout all of it, Eala remained remarkably composed publicly. At her next press conference, reporters bombarded her with questions. "Do you regret filing the complaint? Do you think the match was stolen? Do you believe officials were biased?" She answered carefully. "I'm not asking for sympathy," she said. "I'm asking for accountability." That line went viral instantly, because it captured exactly why so many fans had connected emotionally to her journey. She never framed herself as a victim. She framed herself as someone refusing to stay silent. And that distinction mattered, especially in a sport where silence is often expected. But the controversy carried another consequence too: pressure. Because now every match she played moving forward would carry additional scrutiny. Some would accuse her of distracting herself. Others would claim she was creating unnecessary drama. And there were already whispers throughout the tennis world that the complaint might damage her relationship with officials. Yet if Eala felt intimidated, she never showed it. Instead, she returned to practice the very next morning. Same intensity, same focus, same fire. Because despite the controversy, the grass season continued. The Bad Homburg Open waited next. Wimbledon loomed beyond it. And the rankings race had suddenly become brutally important. Eala sat just outside the top 32, close enough to secure a Wimbledon seed, close enough to avoid the tournament's biggest names early in the draw. But the Berlin loss had cost her critical points. One match, one call, one missed opportunity that could reshape her Wimbledon path entirely. That reality made the controversy hurt even more. Still, there was something fascinating about the way fans reacted to her afterward. Instead of weakening support around her, the incident seemed to strengthen it. Filipino fans rallied harder. Neutral fans admired her courage. Even people who disagreed with the complaint admitted one thing: she wasn't afraid. And in elite sports, fearlessness is magnetic. The next stop on her journey would only intensify that feeling. Because waiting in Bad Homburg was another surreal moment. A doubles partnership with Venus Williams herself. the 7-time Grand Slam champion, one of the greatest athletes in tennis history. And suddenly Eala's story no longer felt like a temporary breakthrough. It felt like the arrival of a genuine force inside the sport. But the Berlin controversy never fully disappeared. Weeks later, fans still debated the line call online. Journalists still referenced it during broadcasts. And every time Eala stepped onto a court afterward, commentators mentioned the legal challenge. Some framed it as brave. Others framed it as dangerous. But nobody ignored it. Because one thing had become undeniably clear. Alex Eala was no longer invisible. She was no longer just another promising young player. She had become a central figure in the conversation around women's tennis itself. And perhaps that was the real reason the Berlin moment mattered so much. Not because of one controversial call, not because of one painful loss, but because of what happened after. Most players would have walked away quietly. Most players would have swallowed the frustration and moved on. She didn't. She challenged the system publicly. At 21 years old, on one of the biggest stages of her career. That takes a certain kind of nerve, the kind that cannot be taught, the kind that transforms talented athletes into leaders. Maybe the complaint changes nothing. Maybe the WTA quietly reviews the incident and moves on. Maybe officiating never improves. Maybe the result always stands. But the silence is already broken. And sometimes that matters more than the outcome itself. Because long after fans forget the exact scoreline of Berlin, they may still remember the image that came afterward. Alex Eala sitting in the locker room, replay glowing across a laptop screen, jaw tight, eyes burning, refusing to pretend she didn't see what everyone else saw too. And somewhere beyond the controversy, beyond the hashtags, beyond the debates and statements and outrage, another truth was beginning to emerge. The tennis world had spent years trying to decide whether Alex Eala belonged among the elite. Berlin changed the question entirely. Now the question was whether the sport itself was ready for someone unwilling to stay quiet once she got there.